Hello, everybody. Welcome along to the Rangers Rabble Women's Show. I'm Brian, and I'm the host, and I'm joined again by Car, Wolf, and Laura. How are we, folks?
Good.
Yeah, fine.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So, after last week's Aberdeen sort of annihilation, we were on to Park, Thistle, and Car. I suppose when you score 11 one week, the expectations rise, and it's very difficult to emulate that, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it could have been more yesterday. I had 6. I said 6-0, and it probably should have been, but we can't all be Mystic Meg like Laura is and get a bang on every week. So, but it could have been more. 4 is pretty good for us against Partick. We normally struggle a wee bit against them, so can't be too mad at 4.
No, Laura, and seeing you're the Mystic Meg of the group, what made you think it was going to be 4? Was it just because of the previous we've had against Partick?
Yeah, just with the struggles we've had, especially last season, I just thought it wasn't going to be as high scoring, but I did think with Wilko and the team were going to score quite a few, and obviously it turned out that way, so happy days.
Absolutely. Well, if you were like me on the BBC website watching this, wasn't the easiest, was it?
No, I was just saying before we went live there that I had a decision to make. It was either go down on Sunday or go down on Wednesday, because I can't really justify the both of them with having been on the men's first team games recently. And I thought, well, Demi's back in Scotland on Tuesday, so I can take her down on Wednesday, so I get to see her, I get to see the team, and I can watch the game on Sunday on the telly. And you switch it on, and you'll get to see it, but not just now, because there's a problem with the stream. However, given what happened after 12 minutes, I'm quite glad that there was a problem with the stream, because it sounds like it was a horrific head clash that I'm really, really glad I haven't seen.
Yeah, and Rangers obviously tweeted that they've reached out to the girl and wished her all the best. And Cara, it's not something you see every week, and it's something you don't want to see every week.
Certainly not. It's not something I want to watch again. It's unfortunate. They both went for the ball and just clashed heads, but Courtney came off a little bit worse for it. I don't know how Raf is right enough. We've not really heard any updates about her either, but pretty bad. She looked like she was unconscious for a little bit, and then took a while for the paramedics to get her off, and then we heard she had a seizure after the game, and it took 3+ hours for the ambulance to come, so not ideal, but seems like she's doing a bit better. The Partick had updated last night that she was doing a bit better, so that's good.
Yeah, Laura, I mean, even I think the manager was sort of, Brian Graham was saying last night that, it took hours for the ambulance to get there. Now, for something like that to happen and then wait for an ambulance for that long, there's something not right there, isn't there?
Yeah, I think it was something like 3 hours for the ambulance to come, but they've obviously the state of the NHS and that anyway, as everybody knows, that's not what we're here to talk about. But they've obviously phoned them and done their triage and all that kind of thing, and deemed it not as serious, because there was obviously doctors and that there, so she was probably in a better position than other people that had taken her well were. But I think looking at it today, it seems to be that there's going to be a certain attendance before they'll actually have an ambulance on site.
Okay.
So it's just obviously because the attendances are so low now, and obviously I think it's the same in the men's lower leagues, that there will only be an ambulance there because there's going to be doctors and that within the teams and squads and whatever. So that's kind of their first line of obviously getting things sorted. But I think it's still ridiculous that it took 3 hours when she'd obviously had this. When you see it, if you'd seen it, you'd see how serious it was, because she even looked like she'd taken a bit of a fit on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And then for her to take another one, so it's obviously potentially a brain injury. It's just horrific that she's had to wait so long. And Brian Graham was saying she was trying to go to sleep in that in the kind of medical area, and they've been trying to keep her awake. It's just absolutely horrible, but good to see that she has made a good bit of recovery already, which is obviously positive.
Absolutely. And Wolf, I think the Rangers sort of physio or somebody got involved as well. But it really raises quite a sort of serious issue, doesn't it? That the women's game, there's an injury like that or a clash of heads or whatever's happened, and it takes over 3 hours for an ambulance. That's quite worrying, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not just in the women's game, as Laura said there. It's in the lower reaches of football. I mean, I'm sure it's the same in the juniors and the Highland League and all that. I mean, I think from memory, you have to excuse me, you have to be expecting a crowd of over 5,000, I think, before an ambulance has to be there. There was a thing a few years ago in a game, might even in a game that we were involved with in a smaller ground, where there was issues trying to get an on-site ambulance to be there because of the expected crowd. Now, obviously, there isn't enough ambulances going about to have one at every single sport event. That would just be mental. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate for in this case for Courtney Stewart, because it was a serious head injury. I mean, had she broken her arm or broken her leg, they would have got her into a vehicle of some sort, even if it's a team bus, and taken her to hospital. You know what I mean? They would just have done that. So she wouldn't have had to sit and wait for an ambulance and say, look, just triage her and we'll get an ambulance here when we can. If it was like a bodily injury, they would probably go, well, we'll just take her ourselves. But you can't, a head injury, you can't take too many chances. You just can't risk that. It's unfortunate. I mean, obviously, we wish the lassie all the best. Hopefully, that's not too bad. I mean, I would imagine she'll wait for 2 or 3 weeks with it as well. That's for me. That's the only plus side of the BBC stream being a bit latchy going up, because we didn't actually have to see that. Because I was saying to Laura before we come on, I didn't even realise the game hadn't restarted, because the way they reported it was 12 minutes, game stop, clash of heads, Raf goes off, replaced by Tess. And then 5 minutes later, they say Courtney Stewart substituted for Patrick Thistle, whoever came on for her. And I just naturally assumed the game had restarted. Then it said, a couple of minutes later, the game finally restarts. They made no indication of the fact the game had stopped for that length of time.
No.
You know, which they can't report anything, I guess, like that. But I mean, it's a horrible thing to happen. It really is. And we can just hope that both players involved, don't have any lasting effects from it. But the ambulance thing, I don't really know what the answer is, because we all know, as Laura rightly said, we all know the state of the NHS, and we're not here to talk about that.
Yeah.
But they are going to say, look, we're going to prioritise a member of the public, if you like, as opposed to a football player who's got medical teams around about her. And as you said, the Rangers medical team got involved, because when things like that happen, any serious incident on a football field, it doesn't matter what two teams are involved, both medical teams. I mean, how many times have you seen it? You watch the game on the telly, there's a clash, somebody's down, and every single medical person in both benches just get out and do what they can, because they're medical people at the end of the day. They've taken the Hippocratic oath or whatever. They've got to help somebody that needs help. So, yeah, it's not a surprise that that both medical teams were involved. And fair play to whoever it was from Thistle that was keeping Courtney talking, because you don't, in that situation, you don't want them lapsing into sleep or unconscious as well. So it's unfortunate, but can we talk about football, because I'm getting a bit nauseous even thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to acknowledge it, because obviously it's a horrible thing to happen, and we wish her all the best in her recovery. On to the team car. It was Docherty, Eddie Hill, and Rafferty at the back. Arnott, Cornett, McLaughlin, and Hay, with Hardy and Wilkinson. It seemed like a 4-4-2. Was that your sort of reading of it when it first came out?
I mean, I think so. I'm kind of not really sure what the formation is at any point of the game with Joe at the moment. It's kind of changing, ever changing. I mean, Wilko's definitely up front. That's probably going to be a given from now on, but everyone else kind of floating about and interchanging. So you never really know with Joe, and then it changes in the second half again and throughout. So I'm not really taking it the same as last season, that we're always regimented in the way that we played. It's kind of all over the place at the moment, but it's working, so I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah, it seems to be about 80 or 90% of the team, Laura, is the same, and there's just a change here or a change there, doesn't it?
Yeah, obviously we've kind of lost that. Obviously Rachel Rogo, which is obviously a big threat in that, but as Joe had said after the game, obviously she's been replaced quite ably by Katie Wilkinson, so it doesn't feel like we've particularly lost that much, because Wilko's came in so far and done the business and scored a load of goals already. So it's, as you say, the team is more or less the same, but Leah Eddy even looks like she's been in there for ages as well. Like, she doesn't look like she's a new player. She's just settled in really quick as well. So it's good that we've got mostly the same team, but the ones that have came in have just hit the ground running and are doing the business already.
Yeah, both signings hitting the ground running. It's nice to see one part of Rangers is working.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens when you sign quality, though, isn't it? You know what I mean? I mean, it's obviously, we've brought in Wilko, and I mean, she just can't stop scoring goals. When you bring in a striker that's noted for scoring goals, then you put them in a team that makes chances, they'll continue to score goals. So, I mean, great coup to get her. I haven't seen the way she started, the way she plays. I'm absolutely stunned that we managed to get her, because there must be teams in the WFL that could do with a striker. You know what I mean? And I don't know what Joe said to get her up here, but I'm glad she did, because tremendous. You know, I mean, Raph looks like a player as well. Obviously, we've not seen a lot of her because of what happened yesterday. You know, she looks like a player as well. We've managed to sign Olivia McLaughlin on a permanent deal after a year. You know, having that on loan for a year. I mean, that was again another deal. I had no idea how we managed to do that. You know, because even speaking to Liv at the end of the season, she didn't sound very confident about coming back up. She made it pretty clear she wanted to get back up, but she didn't seem she was being totally non-committal about whether it was happening or not. Which made me think we're not going to be able to afford this. We're not going to be able to fund this. Particularly when you think they might think, well, the club's great, the setup at Rangers is great, but look at what they're playing against. It's not really a challenge for someone. You know, no disrespect to any of the opposition, but it really isn't. I mean, if Wilko plays the next two games, which I'd be surprised if she started them both, because she'll need to get rested at some point along the line. With the greatest respect to Queen's Park and Montrose, she could more than double what she's on already. You know what I mean? Because she's still an unknown quantity, and because of the standard of opposition. I mean, as the season goes on, teams will probably get a handle on how to deal with her. But then again, you've got the manager changing the system halfway through the games now, so they don't know what system we're going to start with, what system we're going to finish with, where players are going to be. You know what I mean? It's wonderful, as you say. At least one part of the club's working.
Absolutely. And Car, it was almost like just a continuation from last week. Nick Dockett gives the ball to Lizzie Arnot. Lizzie Arnot crosses it, and Katie Wilkinson's in the middle and scores a goal. It's quite straightforward when you get a winger that just takes on a person first chance, crosses it, and the striker's there waiting.
I mean, what a joy it is to have that version of Lizzie Arnot back, because she's just unstoppable at the moment. She's just taking players on and putting balls into the box, and Wilko's there to just head it home. That seems to be her signature goal at the moment, is just headering balls into the net, and you can't be too mad about it. And that early on as well, it's like a minute and a half into the game, so you're maybe thinking it might take a little bit to settle Park, set up quite defensively, we might struggle. That minute and a half in, Lizzie's down the wing, ball into the box, Wilko's got her head on it. Can't be too mad at that at all.
No, I suppose headed goals was a rare thing for us, Laura, but it's nice to see. That's 2 games in a row where Wilkinson scored a header, so obviously they've been working on that, and it's great to see.
Yeah, I think Rio maybe had a couple last season, but it seems like Wilko is quite happy just to throw herself at things, and we've not really had that kind of player since, I would say, Kayla McCoy. She would just dive at things and the ball would go in the back of the net and she'd be unaware that it even went in the back of the net. But Wilko seems to be that type of player that she just wants to score with any part of her body, so she'll just throw herself at it, and she's capable of scoring some really good, really spectacular goals as well, as we'll come on to. But she just seems to be an absolute find. Again, I don't know how Joe does it, but she's just found another gem of a player in there. And I think she'd said after the game on the BBC that she had seen that we had been lacking goals, and she thought that's obviously the challenge she's wanted. So she started well, so long may that continue.
Yeah, Wolf, it's just a joy to see a winger putting a ball in straight, as we said last at the Aberdeen game. You know, take them on once, cross it. You know, the striker's already there waiting for the cross. If they think you're going to cross it and then you dummy it, then they've got to back away and it all goes to pot. But it's just refreshing to see wingers taking them on once and crossing it straight away.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we all owe certainly I owe Lizzie a huge apology, because we also at various points last season went, it's not the Lizzie that we know. She's lost a yard. She's not the player she was. She's done whatever she's done pre-season. She's done. She's back to the Lizzie that we thought and signed when we signed her. You know, I mean, like you say, she's beating players, putting the ball in. I mean, a goal involved, which we'll get to later, because I've got a cracking start. I know, Laura, you referenced it on your podcast. Somebody else has mentioned it in the comments. I've started it. I'll bring it up later once we've talked about the game. Paul mentioned it. Lizzie's stats for the games that she's played, incredible, absolutely incredible. Particularly when you consider that last season wasn't exactly a stellar season for her. So that makes his stats even more incredible. But we'll get to them. But yeah, it's great. It's not just Lizzie that's doing it. All the wingers are doing it. You know, you've got me down the wing doing the same. Just getting balls in nice and early. And once the ball's in the box, particularly against teams that are sitting in, anything can happen. I mean, how many times yesterday even just did the ball just kind of ricochet about a little bit? And okay, it didn't always go in. But if it's ricocheting about, there's a fair chance it's going to go in.
Before we go on to it, guys, if you can bring up that last comment, Wolf, at the bottom there. Paul's put in.
Sorry,
Question for you guys. See the second head knock that the ref blew after Rio was fouled in the box. Why didn't we get a penalty? The ref just gave them the ball back.
Is that the one where was it Claire Doherty? Somebody smashed a ball and it bounced off her head and she went down. Is that the one he's talking about? Because I can't think of another one.
I'm thinking that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you need to ask the ref because I have no idea what the rules are in that area. I just go and watch the football and shout for penalties when there's a minor tussle in the box. So I don't actually know what the situation is. But she ended up going off and she had to change her top. So I don't know if because she was bleeding or something, they've just kind of felt a bit sorry for her and we'll just do a drop ball or whatever it was.
Yeah, strange one, sort of. I suppose if the girl was clearing the ball, Laura, and it just hits her in the face, it's hardly a foul, is it?
Yeah, I can vaguely remember it, but they've not really showed it back in the highlights, so I don't know what order it's particularly happened in. But I'm assuming the ref seen that she's been hit and was kind of bleeding a bit, so he's thought that we'll go with that as the foul and no do a penalty. But don't know. I don't think it. I don't know. We never thought in the ground that it was a penalty or anything. We just kind of went, "Oh, another one's been hurt." But it's good. As if throughout the game, a few Thistle players were going in more like, "Oh my god, they're not going to have a team left." But I don't know why, to be honest. But potentially just because it was another head knock or something. Not sure.
Yeah, and Wolf, the second goal, Eddie gives the ball to Brogan, who sort of sets the ball, crosses it in, dinks it in, and Rio gets a faint touch to it, and then it just comes down to that girl again, Katie Wilkinson, and smashes it in the top corner.
Yeah, Liv was pretending to be Rio at that point. It was Liv McLaughlin that came off in the box, and Wilko just smashed it in. I mean, I believe they've given Liv an assist. I don't know why, because it just kind of brushed off her. But at the end of the day, she was involved in it. But yeah, I mean, again, Wilko, as I've just been saying, you put the ball into the box. If you've got a striker in there that scores goals, you know what I mean? I mean, a couple of the goals she got at Aberdeen last week, she just swung a leg at them and they went in. You know what I mean? If a striker knows what to do, you just swing a leg, catch it, it's probably going to go in. So yeah, another great goal for Wilko, and she wasn't finished there.
Certainly wasn't. And when you look back at the highlights, Car, I mean, Brogan's obviously not been in the team for a wee while. Was it refreshing to see her back in the pitch and going at the fullbacks again?
Yeah, I mean, Brogan's always one that you enjoy watching play. She's always very dynamic, comes inside if she needs to, really good on that flank. So can't be too mad having Brogan back in. I do believe it was a wedding. She was out so well. You'll be horrified to hear that they did let her have a day off for a wedding, but she was a bridesmaid, so I suppose they couldn't really. I mean, if she's a bridesmaid at someone's wedding, they're obviously very close. It's just unfortunate timing. There's not much you can do. You've got to give her a break there. We've got Lizzie, we've got Mia, we've got other options. It's fine. But yeah, it was very nice to have Brogan back in amongst it. And I credit her with the assist for that one. I don't know if I'd give it to Liv. I thought it was real. They must look very alike from a distance on the highlights then, because I was convinced it was real. But
I'm sure it was Liv. I might be wrong. But I've written it down as Liv. I'm sure it was Liv. I could be wrong.
Liv got the assist, but they were basically standing next to each other, so it could have skipped either of them, and either of them could have got the assist, to be honest.
No, I'll give that to Brogan, because she's done all the hard work there to put it into the box perfectly to get Wilko on the end of it. So yeah, good to have Brogan back.
Absolutely. And the third goal, Laura, Nick Duckcross this time. I think Rio went to go for it and missed it, and then outside the right foot with Chelsea right in the bottom corner.
Yeah, I think Chelsea was a bit embarrassed at the goal after the game when we spoke to her, because she just kind of swung a leg at it. It just kind of drifted past very slowly, the keeper. But they all count. That's her off the mark for this season. I don't think she never scored last week, did she? No. So she'll be happy to at least be on the off and running. But When I'd watched the highlights back, I never realised how much Rio had kept missing yesterday. She seemed to just not be her usual self. She was in the area, trying to get onto things, but nothing was really coming off for her. So it was just as well Chelsea was there to put the ball in the back of the net.
Absolutely. And Wolf, we all know what happens when Chelsea scores one. She just doesn't stop. So let's hope this is the start of the run for Chelsea.
Well, yeah, I hope so. I mean, as much as we're all, glorying in the fact that Katie Wilkinson scoring lots and lots of goals. I mean, touch wood, it doesn't happen. But if she has to come out the team for whatever reason, you need other people to be chipping in with goals as well. And yeah, I know there is other players scored last week at Aberdeen, but I mean, I think they're in for a tough season. But we need goals coming from like a Chelsea. We need kind of Liv chipping in. We need Rio to get a shooting boots back on. We need Brogan to be scoring goals. We really need goals from all over the park. And that's not being greedy. It's just that you can't rely on one person scoring goals all the time, because when they inevitably dry up for whatever reason, whether they're not playing or it's just not working for them, that's when you start dropping silly points because you're not scoring enough goals. So, but yeah, as you say, normally when Chelsea, we said that last week when she had to post it against Aberdeen, we'd pity that didn't win, because normally when she gets one, she goes on a run. Well, she's got her one, so hopefully she goes on a run now.
Absolutely, Carr. As I say, she's normally not one to score the fifth or the sixth. Chelsea's goals have always been quite crucial ones, haven't they? They've been quite important sort of goals that she's scored.
Yeah, I mean, she's been given more freedom from previous managers since Joe's came in. So they've given her the opportunity to get into those areas and go forward more, whereas before she would kind of sit back a little bit and be more defensively minded in the midfield. So it's nice that she's got that freedom. She's got Livin beside her who's doing great work. I mean, you can put Kirsty McLean in there. It doesn't matter who's beside her. They work quite well together. But she just gets in those areas and she swings her leg at things and occasionally scores wonder goals. So you can't be too mad at it for Chelsea getting off the mark. And hopefully that is a sign of things to come, and she'll just keep going. And Wednesday's a perfect opportunity for it against a team that's already kind of hemorrhaging goals against they played one game. They didn't play yesterday. But, they've already lost 11 goals. So it's a team that you'd expect will have a good amount of joy against. So it's the one you expect Chelsea, Brogan, Lev, whoever's in there to get a few goals. So it'll be good for confidence across the whole team.
Absolutely. And Laura, it was Brogan provided the fourth goal across on the right. And I think, again, Rio tried to get to it, didn't quite. And Wilko was there to just smash it in the back of the net.
Yeah, it was good work again from Lizzie Arnot as well. She was involved in kind of the lead up before it. And Brogan, I think, had a really good game yesterday. I don't think you noticed it as much in the ground once you kind of look back at it. She had a really good game, another cross in, and Wilko just seems to have that golden touch to do. But yeah, it was again, poor Rio was trying to get to it, and Wilko just went, nah, I'm getting another hat trick. And that's 7 goals in 2 games, and what a start already. You can see her adding to that on Wednesday.
As Alan's saying, different positions I know, but Katie has matched Rachel Rowe's goal tally from last season after 2 games. Now that's incredible, isn't it, Rolf?
Well, it is, but as you point out, it's totally different positions. I mean, Rowe was kind of battling about in the midfield, whereas Katie's a striker. She's a number 9. She's doing what she's paid for. But I did notice yesterday watching the game that she did sort of come a little bit deeper a few times looking for the ball. She was looking to get involved in the build-up play as well. Which is nice to see. Which will hopefully lead to other people scoring goals. Because at the end of the day, it is a team game. So here's hoping it continues. As Laura says, we should make some hay on Wednesday. Hopefully, I mean, Queen's Park didn't play yesterday, and they got mullered by Hearts on the opening day. So it's going to be one. I think for me, Queen's Park are going to be this season's Montrose. They'll take a few awful scalpings at the start of the season, but they'll kind of level off as they get used to being in the league and the opposition they're playing against. So from our point of view, it's a decent start that we've got them this early, particularly because we're in good firing form just now as well. So the one thing that one of these games so convincingly is causing us problems with is I don't want to be in Joe's position when she's trying to pick a team on a match day, because who do you leave out, who do you bring? Because even when she's bringing the subs on, which we'll get to, I know they're all coming on and playing really well. I mean, Ailey Austin came on yesterday. She was basically playing as a striker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she didn't look out of place. So I'm glad I'm not the one picking the team.
Absolutely. And Lord Carr, sorry, the subs that came off, Arnott, Hay and Docherty, and on came Howitt, Macaulay and Austin. I mean, it's not quite like for like as in sort of players, but the quality's not really dipping, is it?
No, I mean, most teams probably look at our subs bench now that we've got a few back and there's more to come back and think, this is horrendous. Fair enough, like Sophie Black, young, but didn't look out of place last week. You've got Ailey Austin, who's really come on leaps and bounds, should have scored a wonder goal, but just hit the crossbar, unfortunately. Kirsty Howitt, who's always been one that scored loads of goals and gets in amongst that area and is creating things. So, I mean, it must be horrendous for teams looking at that and going, we've got to come up against the starting 11, and then they've got another 6-7 players that could come on and completely change it. And that's not with Jane Ross being back, Sarah Ewens is to come back, Megan Bell's to come back. We've just signed another player, Camila Fay, who for whatever reason wasn't involved yesterday. But it's good for us in that sense, and it's good that we've got depth there, because look at last season, we had players injured and we dried up a little bit. We weren't creating as many chances, weren't scoring as many goals. So it's definitely something we're going to need. And then we've got Laura Berry that can come in and just score goals if Katie Wilkinson needs a wee break. So you can't be too mad about it. But other teams, I'm sure, won't be happy about it.
Absolutely. And Laura, I'm just coming on to thought Berry was lively when she came on. She came on with Jodie McCleary in the 81st minute. So there's the young team coming on and making a difference.
Yeah, it was good to see Jodie back. She had obviously had a bit of a knock that she picked up in pre-season, so good to see that she's recovered really quick. And Laura Berry just seems to be that kind of live wire that wants to score goals. And I think she was unlucky as well. She was getting a few shots off, but it was just kind of pinging about the box and not able to go anywhere, much to Car's disappointment, because it was 4-0 and she was really wanting me not to win the score prediction yesterday. But whoever comes on, there's given that competition to the ones that are starting and are kind of giving Joe that kind of headache of, well, I'm going to come on and show you that I'm capable of being able to score or assist or whatever as well. And Ailey Austin in particular, she did play when she was on loan at Hamilton up front, so she knows where the back of the net is, definitely. But the young team know that they can get a chance in this team as well, so they're going to come on with a point to prove, and they didn't want to be sent out on loan as well, so they're going to come on and do as best as they can to try and stay within the team and the squad for the season.
Absolutely. I suppose, with no goals in the second half, was that slightly that was obviously a bit disappointing, wasn't it?
Well, obviously the fourth goal was early second half, and then after that, the next 40 minutes was not really a lot of anything. But it's disappointing we didn't add to the total. But I mean, Thistle sat in, and given that we struggled against them last season, every time we played them, then we'd have taken 4-0 when the game started. And it was also a good use of subs and changing the system. I mean, Joe made some substitutions, as we say, brought in some of the young players, changed the system to try something new when the game was safe. We've got another game on Wednesday, quickly following another game on Sunday. So, you can't go hell for leather for 90 minutes when you know that you've got another 90 minutes around the corner, followed by another 90 minutes around the corner after that. And also remember, the Champions League's not that far away. So, they can't go burning themselves out with Arsenal just, a couple of weeks away. Absolutely.
And, of course, the news the other day, Carr, that 3 days ago that we signed Camille Lefebvre from Bordeaux. It says subject to clearance, but I mean, I would imagine on a 1-year deal. American, a young player. So she sounds like an attacking midfielder. So is that to possibly fill the Rachel Rowe void?
I mean, potentially. I had a look at some of her highlights. She only signed her first professional contract with Bordeaux last season. So this is only her second year playing professional football after being in the college system in America. I'm not really sure how that works, but I'm sure if I get a chance to speak to her, I'll ask her about it. But a few of her highlights, she does look kind of very attacking minded, almost in that number 10 role sometimes, but also seems to move around a lot from what I did see. The highlights aren't great, but that's just the nature of YouTube highlights. But good that we're still adding. I'm assuming we won't add any more, but the fact that Joe's stopped, we need another one to plug that gap. So it's good that Joe's still looking. Obviously has contacts all over the place that she's bringing in from down south and abroad, because we didn't really sign anyone from abroad this year. So I suppose that fills that gap, doesn't it? That we've got an American lassie in for a year, as Laura said in our pod last night, probably because the weather is rubbish here and she doesn't know she wants to stay for a long time because it rains all the time. So maybe she'll get used to it and stay forever, and she'll be wonderful. But we're yet to see whether that's the visa or what it is that she's not played yet. But Wednesday would be perfect, wouldn't she? She'd just slot in and have a wee go.
Absolutely. California or Glasgow, Laura, what would you choose?
Oh, California. Stick in this weather.
It's Bordeaux to Broadwood to me. Come on, it's no comparison.
But it's Carr just said there, Laura. It's interesting that the manager has felt the need to go and get somebody for even just a year, she feels that she needs one more body in there.
Yeah, we're being a midfielder. You'd think that was the one area that we're quite stacked in. We've got quite a lot of players in there, but hopefully it doesn't happen. But you're never too far away from somebody getting injured and no being there. So at least we've going to have that kind of bodies in to fill just in case. But we've basically got a team on the pitch and then another team that can come by the time we bring everybody back for injuries and stuff. So the depth's there. We just need to obviously try and keep everybody fit and happy and giving them minutes. But with the finds that Joe's made already, if she's as good as the ones that she's found, then we're going to be in for a treat.
Absolutely. And Wolf, as you said, we've got is it Montrose next?
No, Queen's Park.
Queen's Park and then Montrose, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's again, it's sort of games that you're expecting lots of goals. This is the games where I think the manager identified. I think everybody's spoken about it, haven't they? That this is the sort of games that they had to, take more, like at Aberdeen. They were maybe last season they were happy with 7 or 8, but not now because they've learnt the hard way, haven't they?
Well, just go back to last week's game at Aberdeen. We're 10-0 up. There's a couple of minutes to go, and Joe's going apoplectic. We touched on it last week. Joe's going apoplectic to just keep attacking, get more goals, because that's what you have to do. I don't personally think it'll go to goal difference this season, but if it does, let's make sure we're miles ahead. You know what I mean? Because it has to be that way. And as I said earlier, you don't know when Katie Wilkinson's going to stop scoring goals for whatever reason, whether she just dries up a bit, because strikers tend to do that, or she maybe get a wee injury, she's not in the team, so we need to have goals coming from Liverpool. You just need to score as many, put teams away, be as ruthless as you can. It's a professional game that we're playing here. It's not like we're talking about cup games against a team from 4 or 5 leagues down, and you go, well, we've scored half a dozen, that'll do. Don't want to really embarrass them. They're in the same league, guys. Just go smash them all. Beat them with as many as you can. Put the fear of God into teams. Teams should be coming to play Rangers, and they should be beating the tunnel. At every level of Rangers, every Rangers teams should be coming out going, we're playing them, aren't we? They should be. You should be able to see the fear in their eyes before they even go on the park. Montrose will be dreading next Sunday, given what we did to them there last season. And Queen's Park, we've never played them before, and all we've got to go on is the fact that they get scalped by Hearts last week because the game yesterday was off up at Dundee United. So I don't see any reason why. As I said 5 or 10 minutes ago, I see Queen's Park being this season's Montrose, where it will take them, 2 or 3 months to get used to the league. So they'll take some awful scalpers before they do, and hopefully Wednesday night's one of them when Wilko adds to a tally, and hopefully a few other players come in and score some goals. Rio could do with a goal. Hopefully Chelsea keeps her run going. Get Laura Berry on the score sheet. Just be, as you say, be relentless. I don't think we'll get close to. We might get close, but I don't think we'll overtake the Falkirk Cup game of 10 years ago the other day when we put 22 past them. But I don't quite see that happening. But there's no reason it can't be well into double figures.
No, absolutely not. And Mel, nice to see you went to your first game and you enjoyed it, and you're going to go back. So that's what you want to see, more people going to the games for the first time. And Paul, no, he hasn't apologised yet because he wasn't.
I wasn't there yet, and I couldn't apologise. I wasn't at the game. I couldn't apologise to him, but I will on Wednesday.
He will on Wednesday, yes. So Carts, as Wolf's saying, it's Queen's Park and Montrose Wednesday and Sunday. 2 games where you've got to be looking at sort of getting the. Excuse me. Montrose maybe not, but certainly Queen's Park. You're looking at getting the goal tally up, aren't you?
Well, I'd hope so. I'd hope that Joe's kind of they'll do an analysis of the only game that they've got, which is the Hearts game versus Queen's Park. So they'll go and look at that, how they set up, where's their weaknesses that we can exploit. And I'm sure they'll be relishing it, because I mean, Katie's got 4 in one game, but back-to-back hat-tricks in her first 2 games coming up here. She's probably wondering why she didn't come up here a couple of years ago, because she's top goal scorer in the championship down south. She'll be, if she stays for a while, she'll be up there in our league soon enough if she keeps this form. So there's definitely a chance to get a lot of goals, get other people involved, but get the game won early, and then it gets the chance for Laura Berry to get a good chunk good time. Ailey Austin, even get Sophie on, maybe get Camille in for a wee minute. You can get Kirsty McLean some minutes, because she's obviously just back from an injury as well. So it gives everybody a chance to kind of settle in. And then maybe Nick will chip in, Kathy can get up on the score sheet as well. Hopefully she's doing all right, because she took a bit of a sore one yesterday as well, but managed to play on and keep going. But somebody said she had ice on her leg after the game, but that could just be due to cramp or what have you. So it is a chance for rotation, but as I say, get the game won early, put your best team out first, get a good few goals in the first half, and then you get the chance to get other people on and get their goals too.
Absolutely. And it's a fine line, isn't it, Laura, between, playing I'm not saying weakened, but certainly not playing your first choice 11, for example, and then winning the game. You've got to win you've got to make sure the game's won first before you start tinkering from you. I mean, there's plenty of teams that have played weakened teams in the past, and they've found out the hard way. Because the people that are coming in, as Car's saying, you've got Kirsty McLean with an injury, Camille's just come into the club, so it's very easy just to say, oh, we'll play a different 11 today, but that sometimes doesn't work.
No, I think you can get a bit complacent doing that, and I don't think Jo's going to do that. I think she's going to start strong, as Car said, get the game won, and then start doing all our tinkering of the formations and who's coming on and that. But I don't think Jo would be the one to go, right, we're going to put a full new team out and we're still going to be able to beat them. I think she knows that we need to get as many goals as possible and do it with our strongest 11, and then start making the changes for there, because Queen's Park will be coming with a point to prove as well, that they want to try and kind of sit in and see if they can do anything. They did score against Hearts, so that we want to try and score against us as well. So we need to just not get complacent and play our best and try and get the goal tally up as well.
Absolutely. And as Paul says, Wolf, we might run out of match balls as well, because scored 4 and 3, so that's 2 match balls straight off the bat.
Yeah, manager joked about that at the end of the game yesterday. But I mean, we're talking about Wilko and her obviously tremendous start to the Rangers game. We touched on it earlier. I took a note of this. I know Laura referenced it on their other podcast. Go on, Laura, tell us what it's called. I can never remember the official name of it. Tell me what it's called.
What's that first, sorry?
Your other podcast. What's the name of it?
Oh, your podcast, the Rangers Women's Supporters Group podcast. I think you're reading about Lizzie's thing. I was like, it's just
no. I always get that wrong. I know you referenced this on your podcast. I saw it yesterday as well. I haven't fact checked it, so if it's wrong, it's not my fact. But Paul's come up with exactly the same fact. Laura hit us with the same fact that Lizzie's got 127 goal contributions in 118 appearances. She's got 69 goals and 58 assists. Now that is ridiculous. Right? That's absolute. Particularly, as I said earlier, when you consider that she didn't have a very good season last season. She wasn't involved in an awful lot last season. I mean, those are ridiculous stats. So when we're rightly going on about Wilko's 7 goals in 2 games, but that's incredible. I mean, that's more than a goal involvement in a game. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. And if Katie Wilkins keeps the way she's going, she'll blow those stats out of the water.
Man. I was about to say, I didn't appreciate it was that good. I knew Lizzie was, good for a goal and good for an assist, but I didn't appreciate it was, more than a goal a game, Car. I mean, that's frightening stats, isn't it?
I mean, it's considering last season, apparently she'd already overtaken what she did last week in Aberdeen. With her, 2 goals and 4 assists or whatever it was. Like, that's incredible. But It's what Lizzie did. That the first season that she came to us, the year we won the league, her and Jane were how Lizzie and Wilko are just now. That was every game, multiple times a game. Lizzie would fire a ball into a box, Jane would score a goal, and then they'd reverse it, and it was just constant. So it doesn't surprise me too much, but that's incredible. Like I need to go and look at that and see how many it was each season, because last season obviously wasn't very much. So it's really only a couple. 2.5 seasons really that she's got that many in. It's just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And Laura, that is a stat. I like a good stat, and that's a cracker. So well done to you. I'm quite taken away with that. I mean, 118 appearances, 127 goal contributions. I mean, it takes a good bit of doing that, doesn't it, Laura?
Yeah, definitely. And I think we were probably our harshest critic last season when we were saying, oh, she's lost a bit of pace, don't think she'll get kept on. We were a bit surprised that she got that year, was it a year contract, 2-year contract, whatever it was. We were like, oh, kept her on. But thank God we didn't, because she's absolutely smashing it. I don't know if she watches the podcast or no, but she must have thought.
I hope not.
So she's certainly doing that so far, and she is a phenomenal player. She's played at the likes of Man United down south and that as well. You didn't get to the kind of clubs without being a really good player. So I'm just glad that she's now doing it for us, and hopefully that's quite a few more added to that by the end of the season.
The other thing as well, Alan, as well, Brian, is that the young players can only learn from her. I mean, we've got young wingers, we've got Mia, we've got Jodie, we've got, even Ailey Austin, who likes doing the wing. They can only learn from Lizzie. I mean, they can look at that and go, hold on, let's just do what she does. Because look at the stats that she's getting, look at the return she's getting from that. I mean, that's got to be a win for us. Has to be.
Absolutely. And even though you guys gave Wilko the man of the match last week, it was Lizzie Arnot that was the player of the week in the SWPL, wasn't it, Car?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of expected that they'd both be in amongst it. I mean, you score 4 goals in your debut, you're always going to be in there. But for Lizzie to get 2 goals and as many assists and, doing what she did last week, I wasn't too surprised that, she was included in that. It's just what Lizzie does. And that's why last season we were so harsh, because we knew what she can do.
The female Ted McMahon, that's too...
Got my glasses on.
You're too young for that, Car.
No. I was going to try and pretend and kid on that I knew who it was, but I don't.
to be fair to Lizzie, I think she generally knows what she's going to do with the ball. Ted McMahon didn't have a clue what he was going to do with the ball.
Correct. I was just about to say that. Lizzie at least knows what she's going to do, whereas Ted McMahon had no clue what he was going to do. And so that was the worrying bit. No, but a good win for the girls, and on to Wednesday against Queen's Park and then Montrose on the Sunday. So we'll have 2 games next Monday. So we'll catch you then. And thanks to everybody in the comments and everybody watching. Wilf, Laura and Car, thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian.
And
Brian,
we shall
keep talking. I forgot I was doing this. Keep talking.
just keep talking, yeah. And of course, we will see you again 6:30 next Monday for the women's show. So thanks again, and we'll see you soon.